This is question number 2 from October-November 23, and it is from paper 21. Figure 2.1 shows the life cycle of plant Coffea arabica. Coffee is the genus, arabica is the species. The plant produces seeds which are used to make coffee. And here, this is the life cycle as they have told. So seed, from seed to the seedling, and then it grows to the adult plant or the mature plant that can produce fertile pollen grain and the ova. And after pollination, fruits develop, and then seed is developed within the fruit. So now see, complete figure 2.1 by labeling the plant structure B and the process taking place between C and D. So B, as I told you that B is the fruit. And within the fruit, seeds are produced. And these seeds are germinating here. So the process is germination. You see that 2 seeds are there, and these seeds germinate to produce a seedling. So the process between C and D is germination. The flowers produce nectar in nectaries and are pollinated by insects such as bees. Suggest where the nectaries are located and how this assists the process of pollination. So remember that if you remember a dicotyledon plant or any cotyledon, any plant where pollination is enhanced by insects, pollination is carried out by insect, the nectaries are there at the base of the flower. So you can write multiple answers that the position is near the nectar. Position of the nectar is at the base of the flower. So you can write here that nectaries are found at the base of the flower. Or even you can write the base of the ovary. And even it is also the base of the petal. Petal also arises from here. Now, another part of the question is that suggest where the nectaries are located and how this assists the process of pollination. So you should know if the insects try to reach to the nectaries, so the pollen from the anther can be deposited on the stigma. So how it assists? Now I'm adding something in the diagram that usually stamens are like this and anthers are there. These are anther where pollen grain are produced. So suppose an insect is coming. This is an insect and it came from any other flower of the same species, and some of the pollen grains are attached to its fur, sorry, not fur, attached to its body. So when insect try to reach to the nectaries, it might touch to the stigma of the flower. So the pollen grain can be transferred or landed over the stigma. So we can write that the pollen grain collected or attached okay collected by the insect can be deposited on stigma when insect try to reach nectaries. Okay, now after pollination, pollen tubes grows down the style. You know that this is style, and when pollen grain is there, its pollen tube starts to grow. Describe what then happened leading to the formation of bee. Bee, what is bee? Bee is the fruit and its contents. Its content means you can include the ovule. So, when pollen tube grows down the style, it reaches to ovary, where the male gamete in the pollen tube enters the ovule and fertilize or fuse with the ovum in the ovule sac, where the zygote develops, and zygote starts to develop into plumule and radicle, and collectively that is called seed. So in 3 points, we have to include all these things. So what we should write, male gamete run through pollen tube and reaches to ovary, where it enters an ovule through microbial and fuses with ovum to produce zygote. And you know that this process is called fertilization. So when fertilization occurs, then ovule develops into seed while ovary ripens ripen to a fruit. And that was our question. That describe what then happens leading to the formation of bee and its content. The content of the bee fruit is the seed that we have covered here, and we have also mentioned the fruit, and you should mention that this is the bee. So this was question number 3. And now this is the part B of the same question. Now this is the B part of the same question. Coffee arabica plant produces a chemical called caffeine, which is in high concentration is toxic to insect. Suggest why the production of caffeine is useful to the plant. So they have already mentioned that it is harmful or toxic to the insect in high concentration. So it stops insects eating the plant from eating the plant. Second part says caffeine is found throughout the plant, but in some parts of the concentration is much higher than in others. Suggests why it is important to the plant to have different concentration in different parts. So definitely, as they have already mentioned in the question, that the high concentration is toxic to the insects. So if in every part there would be the higher concentration, then definitely insects cannot eat on the plant and cannot come to the plant. So nature has diversified the caffeine concentration in the within the plant. So that means I'm connecting the answer that why the concentration is higher in some area, and some areas there is a low concentration. So that some areas can be prevented by the attack of insects, by the attack of insects. And definitely these are the areas of high concentration. So the areas of high concentration can be prevented from the attack of the plants, but those areas where low concentration of caffeine is there, where low concentration of caffeine. It is important uh, but those areas where low concentration of caffeine, pollinators means insects, pollinators can cannot be killed. Or you may write your answer by rephrasing this, that some of the plants, some of the areas remain with low concentration for avoiding the pollinators. Pollinators means insects, to kill them so that they cannot be killed. Okay. While the in other areas are prevented so that plant can grow well and cannot be destroyed by the overeating of the pollinators. Now, next question. Okay, now the part C of the same question. Coffee is a drink that many humans enjoy. The caffeine in the coffee causes the body to release adrenaline. Using caffeine and adrenaline as examples, explain the difference between drug and a hormone. So here we know that caffeine is a drug. Here, caffeine is a drug, while adrenaline is a hormone. And hormone stimulates some of the body reactions. And when it stimulates some of the chemical reactions or body reactions, uh, so it can affect the body functions. So we can say that a drug is a chemical agent. A drug is a chemical agent which causes or which affect the body functions, which affect the body function by altering or enhancing chemical reactions within the body. Or you can say that biochemical reactions. Sometimes they cause to produce hormone, and hormones are produced in the in endocrine glands. Sometimes drugs stimulate glands to produce hormone. So you can say that caffeine is a drug while adrenaline is a hormone, and the drug affect the chemical reactions when taken into the body, and ultimately it affects the function of the body. While the hormone is made by the glands, and sometimes this hormone is produced due to the influence or the effect of the taking drug, as in this case you can see here. You can see here that when you take caffeine, then it start to release adrenaline, and then adrenaline has its own effects on the body. So just two effects on the body of drinking coffee that contains caffeine. As we have already told you that caffeine is a drug and it stimulates adrenaline. Adrenaline has a number of effects on in our body. We are suggested to write only two. So suggest two effects on the body drinking coffee that contains caffeine. So when we take caffeine, hormone adrenaline is released, and adrenaline increases the heart rate. So one of the effect is this, and the another effect is that if it increases the heart rate, then definitely it increases blood pressure. For the time being, it doesn't mean that you become the patient of hypertension. Blood pressure means high blood pressure. It is for the time being in some situations. So for the short period of time, you becomes activate with high blood pressure. Heart rate is more because you are doing something that requires energy. So when heart rate would be greater, then oxygen supply and nutrient supply would be better to your body. And it also increases blood sugar. Actually, it starts under the effect of caffeine. When adrenaline is produced, adrenaline supports or influence the liver to produce, to convert the glycogen into glucose, and that glucose that is called the blood sugar. So there are so many other effects as well. It dilates the bronchioles so that more air can be entered into the lung. So ultimately, it increases the breathing rate as well. So there are so many effects of adrenaline on the body, or indirectly, these are the effects of caffeine if you are taking coffee or tea. But uh, we are asked to write only two suggested effects So we can write any of these two. So that was the last part of the question.